Yo, what is up, everybody? We are back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about why strategic content always works or why it builds an everlasting brand, right? So jumping straight into this video, kind of giving a backstory. As you guys know, if you watch my previous videos, these videos are just off the top of my head. I'm walking around. If you guys would like more, please don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And please comment what you would like. If you would like sit down videos, PDF style videos to where I can give you a doc. And yeah, so jumping straight into it, we're going to start. This whole video is going to be about literally, posting the correct content and why brands or having an everlasting brand will always put money in your pockets, right? So what I think a lot of people get misconstrued about the content is everybody tries to chase the views, but it's about attracting the right views, right? I think when you're posting content, you should have a goal with it, right? What are you trying to portray? Who do you want people to see you as? What is your end all goal with the content, right? Are you just doing this for fun? Are you trying to get something out of it? I think you actually should have a sit down conversation with yourself before you actually decide to get out there and start posting content. Now, when it gets to that, I know there's a lot of procrastinators and people out there who actually won't even do something like that, right? And so it comes down to the point to where instead of just trying to do things, you need to just do it. And so, yes, it comes down with just like how I'm doing it, maybe speaking to the camera, right? But it's all about, I say, how you want to portray yourself, because when you figure out how you want to portray yourself, when you're just yapping at the camera, you kind of put this thing into your brain to where it's like, I want to specifically talk about this because end all be all goal is, for instance, have 1 million followers of people who actually would, love to buy from me, right? So kind of breaking down the content types. Of course, you have the supernatural, you have the very flashy edited, right? I'm more of a natural guy. I can edit, I'm also not even blowing up on content either as well. But I'd rather just continue to talk to the camera natural. But you also have people who have flashy edits and everything like that. Here's what I would say, right? So when you're getting into strategic content, you want to post value, right? And so when you have that goal in mind, let's say you want to be just a content creator, like for Kai Cenat, for an example, right? Views matter for Kai Cenat, right? In my opinion, it's brain rot. You know what I mean? It attracts so many people to where it builds his brand into something insane, to where if Kai Cenat were to drop anything, like a clothing brand, he would print off rip. If you even think about for him not streaming for however many months he did, he still was able to cash collect not even a little, more than over 100 grand a month. But it all started with the strategic content, right? Kai had a goal. He knew what he wanted to do. And the views came in to where now Kai could do anything with his audience, and I'm guaranteed a lot of them would buy, right? Now, when you have people who just create content, like for a client of ours who we're working with, he specifically wants to be a fitness coach, right? He runs a fitness offer and he helps skinny fat people lose weight. And so when he came to us, we went through his content. Every video he had over 10 million views. But when he would try to CTA, he would get broke people, one, or he would get people who weren't qualified, and he was pulling his hair out. So we did a digestive bottleneck on his content, and we actually saw how he was portraying himself online. He was doing the high dopamine, the fast edits, the aesthetics, everything like that attracts the dopamine, but rather than just being himself, right? And I feel like when it comes to the content, you have to be yourself. Like, I've met so many people who are online, and then I meet them in person, and they're completely different in how they act on the internet. Now, for granted, like I said, it all goes back to how you want to be portrayed on the internet, because then when you're portrayed like that, or when you have that goal you want to hit, I feel like there's no facade, there's no fakeness behind who you are, right? For a lot of these people who are just out here posting the brain rot content, a lot of them aren't even like that in person. They're quiet. They barely even speak. They have terrible social cues. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually insane for how many people are out there that is just completely different in their content. And like I'm going to keep saying in this video, is you really need to figure out, what you want to do as for your content, right? And so for me, for an example, I just want to, I'm just yapping about, kind of my day-to-day life, what's going on in the business, how are things going? And I think, when you have that drive or that goal to hit something, especially as far as content, because this doesn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? You have to, be consistent. You have to continuously post. You have to try new things. There's always going to be reiterating and swapping things up with content, with business. I think that's literally the whole thing in life. Like, life is all about evolving. You know what I mean? Like, it's no way in hell you can just stay complacent for a certain amount of time, especially in life, because if you do, you're just going to get left behind. And I'm pretty sure no one wants to get left behind. But of course, we're going to have those people who eventually will get left behind. But don't make that be you. But yeah, so going back to the content, right? I'll break it down from having millions of views with brain rot content, but then having little of views with strategic content, right? So like I was saying, that guy, our client, he has over 100,000 followers. He was bringing in maybe 50 million views a month, but was making $0 with his content. And that's kind of how a lot of these creators are. They're bringing the views. They either are posting the wrong type of content to where it's attracting the wrong person, or they don't have the right systems in place to actually scale or even make money with their content. There's a lot of content creators out there that have 500,000 followers or more. Even the guy we're working with, he has 500,000 subscribers and more, and he's barely even making money. We're about to launch Monday, so that's about to change for him. But a lot of these creators are broke, and they don't understand why. I feel like it's literally just having the systems and the content, right? If you're trying to target busy 9-to-5 people, why are we trying to hit up 18-year-olds on our funnel? Or why are we talking to 18-year-olds in our content? You know what I mean? That's not going to bring the right person you want to bring. And so a lot of people look at, the follower count, and they see like, oh, this person's huge. This person's not going to reach out to me. This person must have a lot of money. No, that is not the case. We took a fifth-year college student who had 500,000 followers on Instagram. He made his first time opening his LLC, his first month, he made 17 grand profit. You know what I mean? So these things is all about, like I say, who do you want to be portrayed as, right? And so when you go back down to, let's say for someone who's talking to multi-million-dollar business owners, right? And their content is specifically towards multi-million-dollar business owners, you can literally have maybe 5,000 followers on Instagram, maybe all over 15,000 subscribers. And that's on all platforms, right? And what you can do with that is, because your content is so valuable, you're talking to multi-million-dollar business owners. That means you can charge not multi-million-dollar prices, but you can charge a higher price to where, it's people out here who have, 30,000 subs on YouTube, maybe 50K on Instagram, and they're doing $1 million a month. You know what I mean? Rather than, for an example, now I don't know how much Kai is making, but for an example, for Kai, if he wasn't for, or maybe let's not use Kai, let's maybe use someone a little bit smaller. But for a smaller, let's say content creator, for an example, who has 1 million followers, I highly, highly doubt that they will be able to charge maybe $7,000 to $10,000 for a package, because their content isn't as valuable as a guy who's posting how to scale from 1 million to 10 million, And so, like I'm going to keep saying, you really, really do need to sit down and figure out how you want to be portrayed on the internet. And also too, bro, like, don't give a fuck. No one doing better than you is going to talk shit on you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people who are going to, say they hate comments or anything are the people who just aren't doing it. You know what I mean? Those are the people who saying, I'm trying. I'll say to you now, there is no such thing as trying. You either do or you don't. You can't try to pick up a pillow. You pick up a pillow or you don't pick up a pillow, So I really just wanted to kind of come here and kind of break that down for you guys, especially like, you have your content to where it makes it a lot easier for you to, start running ads, or to where you won't have to, be so salesy in your content on, when you're talking to your right ICP, right? And so when you're talking to your right ICP, like I was going back before, you're going to be able to speak or sell or always have those sales coming in via content, right? And I feel like now in today's age, like if you're not talking about something super valuable and you're not posting something super valuable, like for Casanat, for an example, like I think he's big enough now to where he could, potentially run, a business offer now or a content creator offer now, which is why I think like streaming university became a thing. But think about if Kyle were to be like, oh, I'm going to show you how to hit 5K in a month as a business owner. People may be like, what do you mean 500K a month as a business owner? Now, for granted, he probably can definitely show you how to do that. But in his content, it's all brain rot stuff, right? A lot of his subscribers probably can't even afford that. A lot of his followers probably can't even afford that, right? And so I feel like when you get on that type of content, you have to come up with bigger, better ideas like what he's doing, or you go to like the minimal, you come up with a physical product, his clothing brand, or something even, different. These are kind of the things that I feel like kind of restrain people from actually hitting what they want to hit. Like I've seen some people who've grown an account up to 150,000 followers strictly off quotes. But then they tried to turn around and sell a clothing brand to them. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like if you would have made your whole content around clothing brand, you building the brand, you drawing the designs and everything, I think the outcome would have came out 10 times better than you railing quotes that have nothing to do with your brand. And then out of nowhere, you're just dropping a clothing brand, right? So when it comes to the content, you have to have a vision and a goal. I truly believe, I believe on that 70% because I feel like the other 30%, like I said, is just doing it. Like, I do feel like, sometimes you don't really need to have a goal. Just sit down and talk to the camera because you can, maybe you don't have anything, in your brain to talk about right now. And so that's why I say it's better to just do, because as you do, you'll progressively get better and better over time, right? I mean, look for me, guys, like, you're going to see my channel. And you're going to see, like, we're going to grow together. This is literally just the beginning. I'm trying to, give you as much value as I can. I think here in the next few videos, I'm actually going to have some content, like some real good pointers on actually scaling a business and etc. And also whatever you guys would like, please don't forget to drop like, comment, subscribe. Definitely leave a comment on more of what you guys would like to see. But like I said, as of right now, I'm just rambling off the top of my head. Got a super high kick of dopamine off the coffee right now. So I'm just reeling. Just going back, like I said, going back to the content, it has to be strategic. So when you're doing strategic content, like I said, you have certain types of content, especially when, like going back, when I say you have pre-launch content, right? You have your whisper, tease, shout when you're trying to launch something. Like example for Casanat. Look how he launched his clothing brand, right? He went off the face of the earth, came back with all these visuals, went to Japan to learn how to sew and everything. Think about what that puts in a person's brain of like, holy cow, Casanat's fire. He's doing this, he's doing that. They saw the process. I think when people see the process of how you get there, that really, really builds the strong foundation of your personal brand and how you're able to sell to them. So this video wasn't going to be too long because I really don't think content's that hard. It can get hard at times to where, when you have creator's block or something like that. But I really just feel like it's about being consistent and just showing up every day. You know what I mean? Providing value, giving some type of value, and obviously making the videos better. That's another thing that I want to do. These videos are cool. I want to keep them super natural. But, I gotta, progress. I gotta make the thumbnails better, essentially. Like, it's just literally like business, like you gotta get better at it or, over time, or you have to just do it, and as time goes, you just get better at it, So yeah, I really just wanted to come here, break that down to you guys, why strategic content works and how truly figure out how you want to portray yourself. I know I keep saying that in this video, but you really do need to figure that out because, I just think it'll help you so much with, your goal with what you're posting online. Now, for granted, like I said, I don't think you shouldn't try different things. Like if you go on my shorts, it's me working out. It's me, vibe coding and stuff like that. But like I said, I feel like it should just your content should revolve around you. Literally, this is who I am. I'm vibe coding. I work out. I do business. I like dirt bikes. I like cars, so I'll be bringing more of that to the channel. But I feel like your content should just be around who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And so that's where I feel like it ties back into you need to figure out your goal and who you're trying to portray. But yeah, guys, this is a quick little video, nothing too long. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos, more value is going to be dropped. And yeah, guys, like I said, catch you guys in the next one, and peace.